Hi BookTube, it's Missy and today is Vlogmas Day 7. Today I wanted to share with you guys my TBR jar. I am going to share the books that I have read from this jar, and then I'm going to keep the ones that I didn't read and then put more in the jar. Last year I made like a New Year's resolution where I had all these ideas that I wanted to do for my BookTube channel and my BookTube reading. The TBR jar was one of them. I think I actually read January's and then I didn't do any more after that. The TBR jar sits cute on my shelf and then I forget about it, and then it gets dusty on the cover and nothing happens because I'm very good at TBRs. Like if I've already picked them out, and majority of the time there was a readathon in the month, and so I choose books for the readathon to match the challenges. The TBR jar has been very sad, and so I am interested to see what I've actually read this year and see if I can match them to the picks from here. And yeah, so let's do that. So I have counted up all of my slips of paper. I have 44 here that I need to go through and see if I read. The ones that I didn't read I will add back to the TBR jar, and the ones that I did read I will pull out. So the first one I have here is White Crow. This is by Marcus Sedgwick. This is a YA horror and I have not read that. Then there's Little Girls. This is my Kindle book. I am terrible at Kindle books. I did not read that. The Lazarus Prophecy. This is by L.B. Cottom, L.F. Cottom, F.L. Initials in Cottom, something like that. This is also a Kindle book. I did not read. I did read a classic. I read Lolita this year, which I absolutely loved. I know that's kind of taboo. The story was good. The writing was good. The subject matter, not so much. I have it on this shelf right here. You can see that. That is Lolita. So I did read a classic, so I could take that out of the TBR jar. Stone Cove Island, another Kindle book. Grr. A fairy book. Nope, I did not read a fairy book. Read a retelling. Let's see. I read a retelling of Mary, Bloody Mary. That's a retelling, so I did do that. The Curse of the Wendigo is the sequel to The Monstermologist by Rick Yancey. I did not read that. A zombie book. Wah wah. No zombie books. Hopefully in 2017. Insanity, the Alice in Wonderland retelling, which I did read. Terror by Dan Simmons, I did not read. That one's supposed to be really good though. That one has to do with a plane crash or a boat crash. I think it's a plane crash, and then there's like cannibalism or something. Read a green book. I read Salem's Lot, which you can't see, is down below. That has a green cover. I also read Diary of a Haunting. That's green. I read... I'll do Diary of a Haunting because that's a green cover. Read a demon book. I read The Exorcist. He's a demon. He says he's the devil, but he is a demon. So yes, I did that. The Four Last Things is the first book in a mystery adult series. I did not read that. Death Watch by Ari Burke, a YA horror paranormal about people who work as grave diggers, I think. I didn't get to that one. What Lies Within? I don't know what that is. It must be a Kindle book. I don't know. I should look some of this up. Oops. Okay, Storm Dancer by Jay Kristoff. I did not read. It's a YA fantasy. I will definitely be reading it next year. The Nighttime Affair is another YA. This is a paranormal about a nightmare. She is a nightmare and she goes into people's dreams. Read an alien book. I think I read The Cage this year by Megan Shepherd. I think I did. If I did, then I did read an alien book. I have Lock-In by John Scalzi. I read it. Chimera Book 2. I'm still in the middle of it. I'm going to say I read it though because that book is so slow. I think I have, it's a Kindle book. I think it's only 100 pages and I think I have like 20 pages more to go. So I will definitely try to finish it by the end of the year. Either way, I don't want it in my TBR jar anymore. Mayhem, I did not read yet. That one is a horror novel. The Devil's Engine, I have not read. This is a Kindle book from NetGalley I need to read. The Raw Shark Texts by Stephen Hall. I believe that is a classic. I need to pick that one up in 2017. Read a book starting with the letter C. Oh, I read Carrie this year. That starts with the letter C. Read a middle grade book. I read a bunch of middle grade graphic novels. Does that count? I'm counting it. The Lair. This is the sequel to The Farm by Emily McKay. I did not read it this year. Hopefully next year. 7X is another Kindle book by Michael Welsh, I think. I need to get to Kindle books next year. Read a contemporary. I read contemporary graphic novels. I'm going to count that because I didn't read any actual contemporary from my shelves. Delia's Shadow is a YA paranormal. I did not read that. Read a blue book. It, I read at the beginning of the year, has a blue cover. Beautiful Darkness, I read this year. That has a blue, well, you can see, it's got blue letters. Nosferatu has blue on the cover. Bird Box has blue on the cover. So there. I read blue books. All right. Read a purple book. I read The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. This is purple. Read a thriller. I read the it's the first book she's written by Gillian Flynn, but I read Dark Places. That is a thriller. Man, that book messed me up. I Am Legend. I did not read this. This is a vampire book by Richard Matheson. Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I didn't read this one. Wah, wah. Let me know down below if you read that book. I have all three. I do want to get to it, but I'm wary. I don't know why. Read a book starting with the letter M. Mary. If I'm using Mary as my retelling, I also read the sequel, Mary Unleashed. That one also starts with the letter M. Yeah, I'm going to use Mary for my letter M book. All right, read a sci-fi Kindle book. I did not do that. Read Advent. This is a mystery. Maybe it's a sci-fi. I can't remember. I didn't read that one. Read a vampire book. I finished The Vampire Academy. I read books 4 through 6 this year. That was very good. Read an orange book. I read Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff this year. That is an orange book. Read Into the Woods. This one I also read. This is by Tana French. Read a historical fiction book. I read historical graphic novels. No. I'm going to keep this in my TBR jar because even though I did read graphic novels, this is one of the categories I don't read very often on my shelves, so I'm going to keep that one. Read a mystery. I read plenty of mysteries this year. The Winter People I would consider to be a mystery. The Night Sisters I would consider to be a mystery. No, Station 11 wasn't a mystery. I did read mysteries this year. And the last thing I have here is read a fantasy Kindle book. Again, I did not read very many Kindle books this year. I read a couple while I was camping, but that is about it. So I actually did pretty good this year. So out of 44 books in my TBR jar, I read 20. That's almost half. So I did pretty good, which means I still have 22 books in here that I still need to read, and I think that's actually a good amount. I was going to add more to this TBR jar if I was really low, but 22 is a pretty good number. So I'm going to keep these ones, and hopefully in 2017 I can finish up the entire jar and add more things. And if for some reason I'm just absolutely amazing at pulling them out and reading them every single month, then I will add more when necessary. But for the time being, that was my TBR jar for this year. In case you guys, follow me and watch every video and you were curious to know, I was curious to know because I see this jar all the time and I think I really didn't pick one out this month. Oh well, anyways, that's my TBR jar. Let me know down below if you use a TBR jar, if you stick to your TBRs. Do you like the hunt of finding books? Do you like challenges because you get to choose books from your shelves? Let me know what you like down below. And that is it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!